And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, DJ Yoakley with you here at Coca's Pizza alongside the GOAT, Mr. Mike Pavlansky, the head football coach of the Canfield Cardinals. Coach, a week off last week, bye week. First off, welcome back. You look rejuvenated, refreshed. Looks like you got a little bit of vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. Different type of schedule, and obviously not as intense of a game week, as game week is. And, certainly then coming off of a great Dover win in the last seconds, certainly gave us a boost that we needed.
Let's talk about that Dover win. I mean, late game heroics. Yep. You look at your team that's still growing. A lot of seniors, obviously, but guys that are going through this maybe for the first or second time in their careers. Yeah. What stood out to you about your leaders on those drives?
Just that they kept playing.
Yeah.
There's a few times in that ball game our kids could have folded and said, you know what, just wasn't our night, especially after our last touchdown. We're down 13-10. I think they scored the minute to go. We got the ball with 55 seconds to go in the game on our own 33. Our kids could have said, you know what, just wasn't our night. We couldn't make a play. But, credit to them. They kept playing and found a way to put the ball in the end zone there in the last few seconds.
You look at Paulie. He did a heck of a job on tape.
Yep.
I mean, you look at him. What stood out to you about him from that last drive, especially just the poise that he had?
Yeah, that's the composure, absolutely. Knowing where to go with the football. Hey, the first play, people weren't open. They covered it really well, and he got the ball out of bounds. He ran out of bounds and saved some time and some clock. We only had one timeout left. And, then to find Danny Inglis on the last play, actually Danny was supposed to go to the left into the flat, and Danny stepped up, saw an all-out blitz coming from the left, and thought, if I go left, I'm probably not going to get out to where I'm supposed to be. So he ducked to the right, and Paul knew that was the guy we wanted to hit. And he found him and had enough composure that, hey, just stay in the pocket, and he's going to take a hit when he threw the football, which he did. And, got the ball to Danny, and, Danny got the sideline, got down the sideline, had a great block from Enzo Coca that got him into the end zone.
I mean, when you look at that, it looks like, and I think we've talked about this before, when the game slows down for some of these guys, obviously you don't want it in week 6. You'd like it at maybe 2 or 3. But it looks like this Cardinal team is starting to have the game slow down for them, and they're able to react a lot faster.
Yeah, I think that's right, DJ. There's no doubt. And part of that is due to it took the coaches maybe a little bit longer than we wanted to figure out what we're comfortable doing, and especially offensively. Defensively, we played outstanding all year long, but offensively, to try and figure out who we are and what works for those guys and what they're comfortable with might have taken us a little bit longer than what we had hoped for. Yeah. And but after the Cheney game, we settled into who we were, and ran those formations and plays against Dover, and here we are in a 2-game winning streak, and hopefully we've gotten better during the bye week and this week in practice, and we'll have to go play a really good game against Holy Name if we want a 3-game winning streak.
And that's the goal, right? The 3-game winning streak. But this is the time of the year you want to be playing your best football. Yeah. That bye week, what does it do for you? A lot of people talk about it. It hurts. Yeah. A lot of coaches, and I don't know where you stand on this. When you talk about playoffs, I mean, there's a lot of coaches. I don't want a bye week going into the playoffs. Where do you like the bye week? Does it help?
We would like to play 10 games.
Yeah,
that's number one.
Sure,
you want to play a full 10 game schedule on the high school level. We just couldn't find a team that we were comfortable matching up with, or they were comfortable matching up with us. Yeah. So the bye week occurred last year. It worked out real well. We were able to get healthy and do a couple things. And this year, we're hoping for the same outcome as far as we got healthy. Going to get Vince Luce back this week. Going to get MJ Pompoko back this week. And, those are good things for us. And, we were able to work with some of our younger guys in what we call our 2s and a little bit more. And, gave guys like Paul Bindus a rest at quarterback, and gave Santino Coca a rest at offensive and defensive line, and got some other guys in there that we could work with, because those guys are one play away from playing.
Yeah.
If something bad happens, those guys got to go, and they've got to make sure they're prepared to go too.
And you said before that there's nothing that replaces the in-game experience, the varsity reps. But if you have some time that you can really allocate to those players, it's got to be close, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to replicate that as much as possible in practice before they get to Friday night, but there's nothing like a Friday night rep.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk. What's the difference between a game week and then a bye week practice? Is there anything? Is it like laid back a little bit?
Yeah, it is. It's a little less intense. little less as far as time frame. We went 90 minutes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday rather than the normal 2 hours, 120 minutes. And, gave them Friday off, and the coaches, we split up into 3 different ball games. We went and watched Holy Name play. Some guys went and watched Highland play. Some guys went and watched Boardman play. And so it allowed us to go and enjoy a Friday night also. And then, really worked long and hard with our young guys. That's the biggest thing is, you have certain goals each day. And our goals last week were to get better fundamentally, and what we talked about, becoming a complete player. A complete player is just not at the stadium, because we know we're going to get your best effort every day you're with us. A complete player means take care of your academics, take care of your nutrition, and get your rest. That is a complete player to us, and hopefully we did that last week, and we're continuing to do it this week and see what happens.
When you're at a game, physically at a game, and you're scouting a team, you said Holy Name, Howland, Boardman.
Right.
Is it different than on tape? I mean, what's different for you?
Yeah, oh, no doubt. You can certainly tell the energy level of a team when you're
live in person.
Okay. You can't see that on tape. You can't feel that on tape. And a great example is Holy Name. Holy Name was getting beat 14-0 at halftime against Normandy. Come out the second half, and you just saw the energy level of that sideline rise up, and they came back and won the game 21-20. You wouldn't be able to tell that by tape.
You mentioned before we got on the air that Holy Name is a team that you do not want to sleep on. You have to play 4 quarters. You experienced this last year, and obviously you saw it last week in person. When you look at this team, you've got 2 weeks to prepare for this team in specific. Does that? It's got to feel good, right? But to kind of hammer that nail into the players' minds.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a little bit extra time. They didn't have that time last week. They were preparing for Normandy rather than us. Obviously we took a peek at Holy Name and what they do. More importantly, during a bye week, it was concentrating on us. What's our strengths, what's our weaknesses, what do we got to get better at, what are we going to look at for Holy Name, and we added a couple things, obviously, like everybody does. And but this team here, their program will not quit in any part of a football game. Last year in the state semifinal game, we were up 31-7 midway through the third quarter, and before you know it, midway through the fourth quarter, it's 31-21. And we had to get another one on the board just to feel comfortable. And, last week they came back again and won a game. Their first win of the year is against North Olmsted. They were down in that ball game, and 21-6, I think it was, came back, won 42-26, or 42-27. And, so it's a team that's not going to go away. If we win Friday night, it's going to be a 4-quarter battle.
All right, so a question I have for you as a football guru and a coach, as opposed to a high school coach. So you hear just people just second-guessing offensive, defensive coordinators, head coaches at every single level. They thinking like, okay, well, we get to a point we can just change the offense, change the defense. However, it's not that easy, is it?
No, not at all.
Explain how that goes.
Obviously it starts in the offseason.
Yeah.
You're evaluating the talent you have coming back, the kids you have coming back, the kids you got coming up. I can say this with 100% certainty, DJ. There's not a coach, a coordinator on any side of the ball, special teams coordinator or head coach that calls plays to lose.
You'd think. Right?
We're at practice every day.
Yeah.
We see what goes on, and we want to put our kids in the best situation possible. And I think every coach is like that. It's nice to be a fan, but fans need to understand you're not at practice every day.
Yeah.
And, certainly sometimes we want to play better. Absolutely. Certainly do we make mistakes as coaches?
Yeah.
You bet we do. Every Friday night there's calls we want to have back. If you win or lose, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're looking at the game, you're critiquing yourself, and, see how you can get better as we ask our kids to get better.
Yeah.
But, that's part of being a fan.
Yeah.
And that you can criticize and you can be a fan and things like that. And as a coach, you got to be able to take it. If you're not going to take it as a coach, you're in the wrong profession.
The difference between a quarterback and a Monday morning quarterback, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you mentioned every Friday night. A question I don't think I've got to ask you yet is this year for playoffs, every Friday night, every game is going to be played on Friday night. Advantages, disadvantages, where do you sit on the fence?
I don't like it, to be honest with you.
I'm saying.
I think if they're played on 2 different nights, a Friday and a Saturday, you're going to get more fans to games. The average fan, is going to go to the school that they follow all the time.
Agreed.
And then if there's a Saturday night game, and there's another local team playing, or they want to go see somebody within an hour, jump in the car with their buddies and go see another game.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the state doesn't see that. We did this a couple of years ago.
Yep.
We actually lost money.
Yep.
And, I'm not too sure. Hopefully it's going to work out for them, but not too sure it will.
The other side of it, I think, and you can tell me if I'm way off base here, is the officiating shortage that we do face.
Right.
It's out there.
Yep.
People are denying it, but how do you get everybody into those stadiums on a Friday night with a lack of officials? Do you think that's going to be a problem?
Well, I don't think it's going to be a problem because, number one, you got to have officials to have a game.
Well, that's
okay.
That's
and
true.
so, therefore, the state feels comfortable they're going to have officials. So that's number one.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I really think that'll be a topic. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's all right.
All right, so here's your off the path question. The Toy Story. I don't know if you saw it. I know you're not much for pro football, but there was a Toy Story NFL game that happened live from London, where all the players were like, I don't know, you know Toy Story, right?
I know of Toy Story.
Okay, so the players were like Toy Story action, and they just did. Who, in your past, was a childhood movie that you absolutely adore, or childhood show that you grew up watching?
A movie or a show?
Or a show that you would adore. Like my era is Toy Story. So just because it was Toy Story, I watched it. I introduced it to my son.
I don't know. The best movie, because I read the book too, growing up, that I truly, truly enjoyed about how life can change on a dime is Brian Piccolo, Brian's song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bears running back, him and Gale Sayers during his 60s, and the race, how that played out. And, it just it brought me, some good, I think, some good, what's the term I'm looking for? Just, perspective.
Yeah.
And, as far as race is concerned, okay, and then certainly how life can change on a dime.
Yeah. So how many times do you think you've watched that movie over the years?
Oh, geez. I've read the book a number of times, okay, and over the years, probably a half dozen times.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Truly enjoy that story.
We got two gentlemen here tonight. I'd love for you to talk about their character, what they mean to this ball club.
Two great seniors, Tyler Eckert, Connor Merrill, 3-year guys with us, playing their hearts out. Last year, they were Connor did a tremendous job on our scout team last year, at the end of the year and through the playoffs, getting our guys ready to play. This year, he's really stepped into the role of, being a spot player for us and being a special team player for us. And, when he's in there, he's given just a great effort, and he'll be the first one to tell you he's the guy in practice. If there's going to be some type of scuffle, he's in the middle of it, okay? And then Tyler, Tyler's had a tough go of it. Tyler, his sophomore year, really freshman year, got injured and missed his freshman year.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, got injured and missed his sophomore year.
Yeah.
Last year, gets injured with an ACL, missed his junior year. Came back and, had some struggles early on in the summertime and wasn't too sure he wanted to go with it, and walked away for maybe a day or two, and then came back and said, Coach, I want to play, and he's worked himself into a starting position for us. And just really proud of those two guys, because it's easy when you're the starter every night your senior year or every night for 3 years. It's difficult, and says a lot about them when they're going to come to practice and not know if they're going to play on a Friday night. And then they can appreciate every snap that they get. Those are the guys you need if you're going to have a chance to be successful.
I love it, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
DJ.
you
All
as
right.
always.
Yep, absolutely.
Coach
Appreciate it.
Pavlansky back with more after this on the Canfield Cardinal Show, live from Coca's Pizza.